The latest update for Splatoon is out, and it's basically here to fix some of the problems that have been ongoing in the past week or so. It actually hasn't been that long since we got the previous update, but there's been so many persistent issues that they've needed to release another one. So in this video, we're going to take a look through Nintendo's official changelog of all the updates and changes in this patch. Starting us off, we have changes to connectivity, implemented additional measures to reduce the frequency of communication errors following battles and job shifts. Now this has been a huge problem for players in this game. Honestly, I've been suffering with it myself. I feel like most people have experienced this. It is definitely a big problem. And will I say that it has really improved after this patch? Personally, I'm not really feeling it so far. I feel like Nintendo still has a lot of work to do on this front. Still, it's good that they've addressed it and that they're trying to work on something, but I feel like there are still many improvements that need to be made in this particular front. I've even heard of some new connection errors appearing after this patch, so it seems like we're probably going to get another one fairly soon. We also have changes to player controls. Fix an issue where players using dualies would stop attacking and enter swim form at the end of a dodge roll regardless of whether they were holding the ZR button. Fix an issue with the drop roller gear ability where the player would enter swim form at the end of their drop roll if they press the ZR button while holding the ZR button during a drop roll, regardless of whether they continue to hold the ZR button. Fix an issue with splatanas that cause players to perform 2 sequential horizontal splashes following a charge slash even if they only press the ZR button once. Definitely good to see more changes to controls in this regard, fixing some of the more niche issues in my opinion, or maybe I'm just out of the loop and I haven't really heard of these ones. They seem fairly specific, so it's good that they were caught onto. Although I do feel like I've heard of some other more popular control issues and such that haven't been addressed yet, so maybe they will be coming in a bigger patch, maybe they need more time to work on those. Next we have changes to multiplayer. Fix an issue where players would not take damage for a certain amount of time after their Booyah Bomb armor was broken. Implemented measures to prevent issues where players would clip through and get stuck in the terrain when turning from swim form into humanoid form near a tacticooler placed in the corner of certain maps. I feel like I've definitely heard about that Booyah Bomb one, so it's great that they've worked on fixing this. Not a huge log of changes to multiplayer here, but still 2 important ones I feel like, so it's great that they've done that. We also have some other changes, and one of these is one that they actually announced a little while ago. Fix an issue where the game would crash when the player finished editing their locker with a photo stand placed in the locker. Fix an issue when receiving a new catalog after receiving catalog level 100, where a communication error happening or the game crashing could result in the catalog receiving event not triggering. In cases where this issue has already occurred, the catalog receiving event will play once again when the player has restarted the software and entered Hotlantis. Fix an issue relating to Super Sea Snails. If you are unable to receive Super Sea Snails from the first Splatfest, the final results news broadcast will replay and you'll now be able to collect your Super Sea Snails. So this last one related to the Super Sea Snails is probably the biggest thing that I've heard about in this entire update. A lot of people talking about this one, and Nintendo came out themselves to announce that they would be releasing a patch so that people could get their Super Sea Snails. It must have been really frustrating if you missed out on getting those, but thankfully now you should be able to get them, which is really great. And hopefully that won't happen during the next Splatfest, or they might have to release another patch. They also do say at the end, because this update focuses on additional fixes to connection related issues and fixes to some control and battle related issues, we have prioritized its release. We identified an issue where communications with the server are interrupted during a battle or job shift due to settings on the player's network equipment and their internet provider. We have implemented measures to reduce communication interruptions and reduce subsequent errors after a battle or job shift, even if an interruption does occur. Additionally, we have implemented provisional fixes regarding some problems that affect the feeling and feedback of controls while playing. In the case of the issue with clipping through terrain when using a tacticooler, we decided that it was more important to quickly release a solution that mitigates the issue rather than hold out for a perfect fix. Furthermore, if players are found to be harassing other players or otherwise violating Nintendo's community guidelines by intentionally exploiting game bugs, we are actively taking measures including suspension of online play. This is really interesting to me. So we have heard about people getting banned from Splatoon 3. In fact, they were getting banned before the game had even launched. If you did anything corrupt, I guess, in the demo for the game, you would get banned. And it seems like they're really dedicated to banning people this time around who exploit glitches and bugs. Now, there are some other really popular ones going around, and the only thing I can really say is just be careful if you're using these. Keep in mind that Nintendo could technically ban you for exploiting any of these glitches or bugs that are really popular in the game right now. That's of course not a guarantee that they actually would. We really don't know what Nintendo is thinking half the time, but still, I would say it's better to be safe than sorry and just play the game as intended. That's generally better for everyone in my opinion, especially when it comes to the case of actual cheaters who are modifying the game and doing things that affect people's online play. That definitely isn't good. I do actually really like the transparency that we get from Nintendo in these changelogs. It's honestly a lot better than many of the other changelogs for other games that we've gotten where the changes are super vague and we don't really know what they've done. They sort of break it down and even go into their decision making with Splatoon, which is something I feel like they've always kind of done, but it's still really good here in Splatoon 3. Now they do actually mention about the next patch at the end where they say, the next patch will focus primarily on balance adjustments and other issues that were outside the scope of the current patch. We continue to observe and analyze battle data and are planning on making further adjustments around the midpoint of the current season. So we are definitely going to see another patch. There's lots of things here that they probably couldn't adjust in time, but they really wanted to get this patch out in time to fix some of the major issues. I'm assuming that the one related to Splatfest was definitely one of the top priorities, although there are quite a lot of other ones in here that I'm sure they wanted to address quickly as well. So it seems like we will be getting even more bug fix patches before we get the next major update, which of course will come with the changing of the season. We don't know exactly when that's going to be. I'm guessing it'll be sort of in mid or late October, maybe even early November, but I'm sure we will learn more about the next major update soon. I believe that they mentioned that old battle replays will also not be compatible with this update, so that is something else to keep in mind. Something very vague they mentioned that I don't feel like they mentioned anywhere other than the Japanese account, so I just thought I would bring that up here in this video. But let me know what you think about this patch in the comment section down below. Of course, it's nothing insanely exciting, but it does fix some of the more major issues that we've had in the game recently, and hopefully they keep bringing in more improvements and such, as there's still quite a lot that have been prevailing. If you made it to the end of the video, be sure to comment Splat Gang down below. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like, and if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe and turn on channel notifications for more Splatoon videos.